Today is Monday, August 3rd. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are on Chapter 2, There's a Solution. We will be reading page 23. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 4. We'll read page 45. And of course, we'll read NA's Just for Today and Al-Anon's Courage to Change. So with that, hope you all are doing well this beautiful Monday morning, my friends. Life is good over here. It's a brand new week, brand new opportunity to work the program or make that first step toward change, whatever that looks like, you know. And hey, life is good over here. I've got a giant cup of coffee in my public library Jurassic Park cup. I earned that, by the way. I hit that reading challenge that they wanted me to do. And I got a little personal challenge of trying to read at least 40 books this year, and I'm on like book 23. And oh my goodness, so many good ones I've read over the year. Ernest Cline, Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, Armada. He may be one of my new favorite writers. I love his stuff, and I love sci-fi and horror. So if there's any other recommendations, please let me know. BigBookDaily@gmail.com. But that has nothing to do with recovery, so let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, we've been talking about the insanity, right, of the drink. And we talked about the picture of an alcoholic and how, you know, that might not be a full comprehensive picture, but I certainly see some similarities in my alcoholism for sure. But today we're going to be talking about something very important, and it's the obsession of the mind and the problem and where it centers. So we are on There's a Solution. We'll be reading page 23. These observations would be academic and pointless if our friend never took the first drink, thereby setting the terrible cycle in motion. Therefore, the main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than his body. If you ask him why he started on the last bender, the chances are that he will offer you any one of 100 alibis. Sometimes these excuses have a certain plausibility, but none of them really make sense in the light of the havoc an alcoholic's drinking bout creates. They sound like the philosophy of the man who, having a headache, beats himself on the head with a hammer so that he can't feel the ache. If you draw this fallacious reasoning to the attention of the alcoholic, he will laugh it off or become irritated and refuse to talk. Once in a while, he may tell the truth, and the truth, strange to say, is usually that he has no more idea why he took that first drink than you have. Some drinkers have excuses with which they're satisfied part of the time, but in their hearts, they really do not know why they do it. Once this malady has a real hold, they're a baffled lot. There is the obsession that somehow, someday, they will beat the game. But they often suspect that they are down for the count. How true this is, few realize. In a vague way, their families and friends sense that these drinkers are abnormal, but everybody hopefully awaits the day when the sufferer will rouse himself from the lethargy and assert his power of will. The tragic truth is that if the man be a real alcoholic, the happy day may not arrive. He has lost control. At a certain point in the drinking of every alcoholic, he passes into a state where the most powerful desire to stop drinking is of absolutely no avail. This tragic situation has already arrived in practically every case long before it is suspected. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And we've been talking about the instincts gone to the extreme. So we are going to talk about self-loathing today. And buddy, this was an eye-opener for me. So we're on page 45. If temperamentally we are on the depressive side, we're apt to be swamped with the guilt and self-loathing. We wallow in this messy bog, often getting a misshapen and painful pleasure out of it. As we morbidly pursue this melancholy activity, we sink into such a point of despair that nothing but oblivion looks possible as a solution. Here, of course, we've lost all perspective, and therefore all genuine humility. For this is pride in reverse. This is not a moral inventory at all. It's the very process by which the depressive has so often been led to the bottle and extinction. If, however, our natural disposition is inclined to self-righteousness or grandiosity, our reaction will be just the opposite. We will be offended at AA's suggested inventory. No doubt we shall point with pride to the good lives that we thought we had led before the bottle cut us down. We shall claim that our serious character defects, if we think we have any at all, have been caused chiefly by excessive drinking. This being so, we think it logically follows that sobriety, first, last, and all the time, is the only thing we need to work for. We believe that our one-time good characters would be revived the moment we quit alcohol. If we were pretty nice people all along, except for our drinking, what need is there for a moral inventory now that we're sober? We also clutch at another wonderful excuse for avoiding an inventory. Our present anxieties and troubles, we cry, are caused by the behavior of other people. People who really need a moral inventory. We firmly believe that if they just treat us better, we'd be all right. Therefore, we think that our indignation is justified and reasonable. That our resentments are the right kind. We aren't the guilty ones. They are. NA just for today, August 3rd. Trusting people. Many of us would have nowhere else to go if we could not have trusted NA groups and members. Basic text, page 84. Trusting people is a risk. Human beings are notoriously forgetful, unreliable, and imperfect. Most of us come from backgrounds where betrayal and insensitivity among friends were common occurrences. Even our most reliable friends weren't very reliable. By the time we arrive at the doors of NA, most of us have hundreds of experiences bearing out our conviction that people are untrustworthy. Yet, our recovery demands that we trust people. We're faced with this dilemma. People are not always trustworthy, yet we must trust them. How do we do that, given the evidence of our pasts? First, we remind ourselves that the rules of active addiction don't apply in recovery. Most of our fellow members are doing their level best to live by the spiritual principles we learned in the program. Second, we remind ourselves that we aren't 100% reliable either. We will surely disappoint someone in our lives, no matter how hard we try not to. Third, and most importantly, we realize that we need to trust our fellow members of NA. Our lives are at stake, and the only way that we can stay clean is to trust these well-intentioned folks who, admittedly, aren't perfect. Just for today, I will trust my fellow members. Though certainly not perfect, they are my best hope. Al-Anon's Courage to Change, August 3rd. There was a time in my life when I furiously insisted that alcoholism did not exist in my family. We were normal, everything was fine. Today, I know that alcoholism is a family disease that affects not only the drinkers, but those around them as well. Denial is a symptom of this family disease. When I began to recognize the alcoholism in my family, my unfortunate past became the topic of all my conversations. Then an Al-Anon member shared about having learned to look back without staring. She pointed out how easy it can be to lose perspective, to feel trapped, to stop living in the present. Unlocking the secrets of the past can offer many gifts, but the purpose of this search is to recover from the effects of alcoholism and get on with our lives here and now. Today, with the love, support, and encouragement of Al-Anon members, I'm able to face the reality of the past. not place blame or wallow in self-pity, but to learn from it. Today's reminder: there is much to learn from the past, but I cannot allow past hurts to smolder and destroy today. Instead, I can ask my higher power to help me to use my experiences to move forward and to make healthier, more loving choices than ever before. Quote from Aldous Huxley: "Experience is not what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you." All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, that Al-Anon reading, while it's fresh, I love that. The Al-Anon member shared about having learned to look back without staring. Now, I still, to this day, can replay my past, even though I've prayed about it, I've talked about it. But the beautiful thing is, and it's taken a lot of time, and a lot of reminders like this one today, and a lot of repetition, I still look back at the things I've done, but I don't attach shame to them anymore. Because I'm putting into place things today, August 3rd, 2026, to make sure that they don't happen again. And one of the things is doing this podcast. I mean, even if nobody else listens, this is helping me, holding me accountable to be reminded of this stuff every day. Establishing healthy boundaries and praying for others and trying to get outside of my own head and talking about that self-loathing. Holy cow, that is pride in reverse, because the only person I'm thinking about is me. It's just in a negative sense. And in the 12 and 12 reading, it really reminds me of that old line, I'm no better or worse than anybody else. I'm just a human being. And they're providing excuses of why not to do the inventory, right? The first paragraph we read was about, my past is too bad. I feel terrible. I hate myself. I can't do this. That's that shame paralyzing me, right? Keeps me idle. And then the next paragraph was talking about the one that says, I'm a perfect person, or I'm close to it. The only problem I have is alcohol. So there's pride in another way. And then finally, the last excuse is, hey, this is everybody else's fault. It's their fault that I drink. And it's crazy, talking about the mental side of it in There's a Solution. A lot of times when I drank, I had all these excuses that I would convince myself, hey, it's okay to take a drink. So that mental obsession would lead me to the drink. The insanity of it, right? And then, as soon as I got that stuff in my body, boom, here comes the physical craving, the allergy, right? Where all I want is more and more and more. I think about that insanity a lot, and I'm so grateful I don't live there anymore. But I'll tell you what, I can still remember it. Going almost 8 years now, I can remember the obsession. I can remember taking those drinks. And for the days I didn't black out, I can remember the destructive things I did while I was drinking. But the beautiful thing is, I don't hate myself anymore for it. Why? Because I did the steps. I took inventory. I did step 5. I did step 6 and 7, and I try to do that every day to give those defects to my higher power. I am willing to make amends where I need to, whether they're direct or indirect. I try to continue to take that personal inventory and keep praying, keep meditating, practicing these principles in all of my affairs, trying to carry this to help somebody else. And wash, rinse, and repeat by doing this over and over again, just in 24-hour increments. I don't look back on the past with this deep shame anymore. Because guess what? Another tool in the old spiritual toolkit, serenity prayer. I can't change it. What's the best thing I can do? Learn from it, try my best to make sure it doesn't happen again, and to live a life of integrity today and help others. That's it. It's beautiful stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I grew up with such low self-esteem in life. This self-hatred and self-loathing, I thought I was going to die with that character trait. I thought I was going to carry it with me for the rest of my life because I had tried so many times to stay positive, and in my alcoholism, I simply couldn't. But that's simply because I didn't have these spiritual tools that I have now. God for dummies, right? For me, at least. But now, like, that's one of the fruits of sobriety, one of the greatest gifts of grace that I've ever received is I don't hate myself anymore. I feel like Del Griffith in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I like me. I'm okay with me. Can I improve? Absolutely. Lord knows I need to, but I enjoy the process of trying to improve now, trying to be a better man. And to be of use to somebody else. That gives me a sense of purpose. But anyway, I'm going to get off this little... yeah, there we go. I'm getting off that soapbox. But guys, I hope you all have a great one today. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of NA, AA, Al-Anon, any other sector or denomination. I'm just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery, honored to be here and sober another day. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.